Hello all, welcome back to One Pitch Catch. It's actually been just over a year since we started. March 8th of 25 was when we first started this series. And that then very next day, India had beaten New Zealand in the Champions Trophy. 1 year later, India beats New Zealand in the T20 World Cup. So now India have won, I guess, three out of the last four ICC events. If you go back to the 23 World Cup and then the 24 T20 and then Champions Trophy and now this. So I guess it's been a good last 3 years for India sort of being capped by this win. And Sanju Samson, player of the series from where he was maybe after the first three, four games. What does it remind you of, Ganesh?
Shefali Verma, Jaga. Shefali, who was not even part of the squad and won the player of the match in the finals, Women's World Cup final. Similarly, I mean, here Sanju Samson was part of the squad, but he didn't look anywhere near getting into the 11, especially after the bilateral versus New Zealand. The way he couldn't buy a run in those 5 games. Though they kept persisting with him, then Jen still figured. Then eventually ended up saying that no, we can't start you in the 11 in the World Cup. I mean, rightly so. Abhishek scored a lot of runs. Ishan scored a lot of runs. Some Samson, we had already spoken about it that Samson had only himself to blame. Now he has only himself to
Yeah,
feel happy
absolutely. Yeah.
about. So, I mean, that was very interesting that in the post-match, he said that he's been talking to Sachin and
Yeah,
Sachin
yeah.
has been helping him. That was heartwarming and also
Correct.
interesting to
Yeah.
see. But yes, exactly. He reminds me of what Shefali did in the Women's World Cup. But overall, I think not being part of the initial 11, initial few games, just the majority last 4 5 games only he played, and then being man of the series is
Correct.
really
Yeah.
a great effort. And I think he ended up
And
hitting the
380
second
plus scores
highest.
in a row.
Yeah, I mean, it's like scoring 300s, Jaga. I mean, in
Yeah,
T20
basically,
leagues,
yeah.
you don't score hundreds. 80, 90s is a good 100. And also every
Correct.
time he had a lot of overs. I mean, except for the
Yeah,
West
yeah.
Indies game, the other two 80s, he had a lot of overs. If he had
Yeah.
wanted to score a couple of one and twos, and he could have got. But
Yeah. Unlike certain others who we won't name right now, but
let's not go there. But he really it was a great team, selfless
and
act by.
it was a thrashing, like 96 runs in a T20 game, especially in a final, is pretty much a thrashing. But there's some questionable calls by New Zealand, particularly around their team selection. Like Colin McConkie was out. He had done a pretty good job leading up, especially bowling the opening overs and stopping the batsman from taking off. And then Kyle Jamieson, who has historically done very well against India, not being picked. So what is going on?
I was shocked when the moment the toss and the teams were announced. I was shocked that McConkey was not playing because the way Abhishek Sharma and Ishan Kishan have been struggling against off spin. Why would you drop McConkey and he's not just another off spinner. You've seen Salman Aga, Aiden
Yeah, yeah.
Markram, all those people trouble India, and McConkey would have definitely troubled. I mean, maybe Abhishek. It was
Maybe, maybe
Abhishek's day,
not. But
maybe, but you cannot drop I mean, McConkey, and also instead of playing Duffy, Jamison would have been a better option. In
yeah,
fact, Jamison recently in that bilaterals also troubled India with his height and bounce that he
correct.
could extract. And the Ahmedabad pitch had good bounce, so he would have been a handful. Again, all this may not have changed the result, but it's not like you said. May not have been a 96 run thrashing.
Yeah, and maybe New Zealand didn't give themselves the best chance by some of these decisions, right? Including the one to like basically Glenn Phillips bowled only 1 over in the entire match. Like, and this I think he gave 5 or 7 runs in the first 2 overs. He bowled 5.
₹5.
Yeah.
In fact, first over, Matt Henry bowled and gave 7 runs. Second
Ah,
over, Glenn Phillips gave 5 runs. So 2 overs 12, 6 overs 92. Imagine 80 runs in the next 4 overs. See, when Duffy and Ferguson can give 20, 25 runs and over, I am sure Santner, why is he holding back from not bowling in the power play? I think Santner can bowl in the power play. Glenn Phillips could have bowled another over in the
yeah.
power play.
I think their tactic was let's rotate among the bowlers in the first 6 to 8 overs. So that, but you have to change at some point of time, right? Your first 2 overs have gone for 12. Then you should try and maximize that a little bit better by having more of Matt Henry and maybe Glenn Phillips bowl in the first six. See, Glenn Phillips is not the kind of bowler that you're going to hold back until the 16th or 18th or 19th over. So you might as well get at least 1 or 2 overs out of him. That definitely tactically, I think there were some issues for sure. And
Tactically,
Santner could have
I
bowled
agree.
earlier.
Santner could have bowled in the power play. And overall, I think Santner is probably the most intelligent left-arm spinner going around, Jaga. According to me, he's extremely good with his bowling, so he can bowl in the power play. But
Yeah,
as a captain, even in the bilaterals, again going back to the recent bilaterals with India, there were some tactical notes missing. I feel so. I feel
hmm.
he is captain because they don't have an option.
Yeah, possible,
Uh,
possible.
so with
I
Kane
guess they do. I
Williamson,
mean, Daryl Mitchell, I think he has stood in and stood in for Mitchell Santner in the past. So there's no reason why they can't have him. But again, he
again,
seems a little wasted coming in so low down the order also.
that is another tactical thing. The way he scores against India, especially, how
Yeah,
can he bat at number six with Chapman, batting
yeah,
ahead of him? I can't believe. I mean, Chapman has scored some runs here and there, but uh,
yeah,
getting
correct.
Chapman ahead of Daryl Mitchell just doesn't make sense to me. And also
Yeah.
the even the bowling options on which over to go. Like we spoke
Mm.
about the power play, even Jimmy Neesham, who troubled India a little bit. I mean, India could have ended up 270 at one point of time
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because of that 3 wicket over. But even then, I would have. Now, the 20th over, when Shivam Dube is facing, Jimmy Neesham is meat and drink, I feel. The way
Yeah, yeah.
his speed. I mean, I think Ferguson bowled badly in the first two overs, but still the pace would have troubled Shivam Dube.
Correct. Yeah.
Jimmy Neesham made it very easy for Shivam Dube to score 24 and go past 250. Chetan. Hmm.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think while his 3 wickets definitely did impact, right? I mean, India, like you said, probably looking at a 270 plus also maybe. It did bring things back under control, but New Zealand, I didn't really close out the innings properly. But what about India's batting? I got a sense that this was, at least at a tournament level, this is one of the tournaments where pretty much everybody contributed in one way or the other. Abhishek Sharma finally finding runs. But then let's go to the New Zealand chase. I think they started off pretty well, but then after that, the scoring was the target was always going to be too high to get to. Seifert and Allen did give them a pretty good start, but beyond after once they lost a couple of wickets, it was just going to be very difficult anyway. Uh, what about like player of the match? It turned out to be Jasprit Bumrah. If you think about it, he got Rachin out with his first ball, but then 3 out of his 4 wickets were lower order. Yeah, not Santner, but they all came in at the 3 out of the 4 wickets. Let's put it this way: 3 out of the 4 wickets came in at a stage when the game was pretty much
Done.
up.
Hmm.
So I got a feeling that maybe they should have gone with somebody else. They Aksar took very important wickets at various intervals, and then obviously you had Sanju's knock in the start as well. Ishan Kishan
Three
with
catches
his
under
50
50.
and
Three catches, three
three
very
very
good
good
catches.
catches.
Hmm. Under 50. I mean, we dropped two catches also
Yeah,
after after seeming to fix our catching problems
yeah. I think
in the
Shivam
semi-final.
Dubey dropped one at the start, and then Hardik towards the end. I think.
Hardik dropped one. So there is a lot of questions about our catching. Still, there's one odd game where we do great catching, but I mean, like you said, Jaga, yes. If they wanted to give to the local boy, Jasprit Bumrah, the man of the match, they could have given to Aksar also. I feel because Aksar got Finn Allen, Glenn Phillips,
Glenn
and
Phillips.
Daryl Mitchell. Okay, three
Yeah,
big hitters, and that was very important. And it was a great move by the management, Gambhir, Sky, or whoever, to bring in Aksar in the third over to Finn Allen.
yeah,
Though he got a boundary in that over, he was dismissed. So that turned out to be a master stroke. But definitely, I feel Aksar or Ishan deserved the man of the match award than Bumrah. I mean, overall, no questions asked about Bumrah and his
Yeah,
effectiveness.
yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean, when a team is chasing 255, 4 for 15, he finishes off his quota,
Ridiculous,
which
right?
is ridiculous. He's wrong. He's not supposed to be playing this game.
Yeah, yeah. They
India
should
are
basically tell him you're not allowed to pick him or something like that.
India are cheating by playing Bumrah in the 11. I feel so. But still, man of the match was a little too much
Yeah.
yesterday. I felt. I mean, some like we spoke about, Sanju getting the man of the series was very deserved.
Yeah, and I think the one main concern that probably will be there for India is Varun. I think he kind of was a little better yesterday, but still batsmen are just lining him up and he was being hit around. And sometimes his body language just doesn't look. Maybe he is like that a lot of the time, but it's almost like you said about how Jofra Archer's body language was after he was getting belted around, right? So Varun seems to have that similar, almost like a hangdog type of look around him. I kind of think it's time for him to just maybe pick up some variations. The person that I can think of is like Kumble towards the late 90s, early 2000s. He was basically batsmen are just hitting him around for fun, especially in ODIs at that time. And then he developed the wrong on flipper and bowled slower. I just think Varun needs to do some of those things.
Yeah, true. I agree. I mean, like we spoke about in the previous video also, Jaga. I feel that the moment he gets hit, he goes too short with this line. I think even the wicket he got of Seifert yesterday was very lucky. Was a
Yeah,
rank
yeah, yeah.
half tracker, but he was lucky that Ishan Kishan took that
Correct.
catch.
Yeah.
So I think the moment he gets hit, he goes too short. I mean, I
Mm.
remember him recently bowling those googlies and getting. I mean, not a huge turn, getting the
Just
batsman
that
bowled,
gap between bat
yeah,
and pad,
bat
right?
and pad gap, getting bowled. So that those balls seem to be missing, or the batsmen have started to read him
Mm.
better. Jaga. Mm.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much the main thing that India need to take care of. I guess they probably don't have too much T20 cricket coming up. Now, a lot of the focus is going to be around the World Test Championship and the ODI World Cup next year. So that pretty much is a wrap. Just to recall, three-time champion, the only team to do that, first team to win at home, first team to win back-to-back titles. You can slice it and dice it in any number of ways, but overall a pretty good tournament for India.
One other thing that I wanted to congratulate India was, I mean, in the Champions Trophy, when everybody accused India that they were playing in one venue, everybody else was going around.
Uh-huh.
But this is the same thing. Even in the 23 World Cup, the team did this, but though they lost
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
final, this time India is the most traveled team. They went to all venues in India, all the five venues they
yeah, yeah.
played. Other teams had a base. Like South Africa had a base, West Indies had a base, everybody had a base. And in fact, India even went to Sri Lanka to play a game, which Sri Lanka and
Yes, yes,
Pakistan did not come here. Even Australia didn't come here. So
correct.
all those things, the other group, India, in spite of traveling to multiple locations, though it's home or away for that one game versus Pakistan, they have done a great job. I think yesterday finally they played the perfect game, Jaga. I feel until then they didn't
Pretty
have
much,
one
yeah.
perfect game, but that says a lot about their character and the capability. Not playing a perfect game until the final and still winning it is something
Yeah. I
phenomenal.
mean, you could argue that even yesterday they could have got to 270 plus and they only ended up with 255. So in that sense, it could have been even better and maybe it would have been an even more of a thrashing in that case.
Hmm.
Yeah, but that's about it. We will call it a wrap. And until the next video, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for sticking with us over the last year. Please do keep watching and subscribing and leaving your comments.
Thank you.